You've spent decades building a life that looks successful on paper, but somewhere along the way, you stopped recognizing the person in the mirror. Tonight, we're exploring 20 unwritten rules that might help you find your way back, not to who you were, but to who you're meant to become. If understanding these patterns helps you grow, subscribe. It's how we keep learning together. Now let's begin. Rule 1. Rest is a strategy, not a reward. It's 11 at night. The 5th cup of coffee sits half empty cold. You're still at your desk, a 52-year-old man under yellow office lights, repeating the familiar mantra. Once this project is done, I'll rest. But deep down, you know the next project is already waiting. You're proud of your work ethic, but your heart races irregularly. Sleep doesn't come easy anymore. This is cognitive fatigue in action. Research shows that when your brain works continuously for more than 10 hours a day, performance drops by 40%. It's the performance paradox. One most people miss. Resting less doesn't mean achieving more. Recovery science reveals that top CEOs schedule rest the same way they schedule meetings, not if there's time, but as a priority. Consider the branch director who refused to take vacation for 2 years straight. He believed he had everything under control. Then, he made a hiring decision that cost $200,000. It wasn't a lack of competence. It was decision fatigue, the exhaustion that comes from making too many calls without recovery. After 1 week away, he returned and spotted a critical system flaw within 2 hours. Something 3 months of non-stop work couldn't reveal. Here's what surprises most people. Navy SEALs and Delta Force have mandatory rest protocols. Elite warriors understand that refusing to rest isn't dedication, it's arrogance. Your brain needs downtime to consolidate learning and unlock creativity. Rest isn't what happens after the work is done. It's what makes the work possible. So schedule rest first, not as a backup plan. 1 full day each week completely disconnected. Even 20-minute power naps can deliver 3 hours of sharper work. Because the smartest strategy isn't doing more. It's recovering right. Rest isn't laziness. It's sharpening the saw. Rule 2. Timing matters more than truth. 3 days after your mother-in-law's funeral, you turn to your wife and say, "You should move on. She was 80 years old." Technically true, emotionally devastating. Your wife goes silent for a week. An invisible distance forms that numbers can't measure. This is what psychologists call emotional flooding. When stress hormones spike the prefrontal cortex, your logic center goes offline. The brain can't process rational arguments when it's locked in defensive mode. The truth someone isn't ready to hear becomes noise, not wisdom. Timing transforms whether your words land as support or as assault. Picture this. Your 20-year-old son fails a critical exam and comes home depressed. You immediately respond, "I told you to take your studies seriously." Logically correct, but emotionally it pushes him further away. Now consider better timing. 3 days later, when emotions have settled, you say, "I can see you worked hard. Let's sit down and figure out what happened together." Same father, same son, different outcome. The second approach opens conversation. The first one closes it. Here's what most people don't realize. In merger negotiations, accurate information delivered at the wrong moment kills deals. In medicine, skilled doctors know not just what the truth is, but when to speak it. The phrase, "right message, wrong moment," destroys more than wrong message, right moment ever could. Before speaking, hard truths test the emotional temperature. Ask, is now a good time to talk about this, or should we wait? Give shock and conflict 24 to 48 hours to settle before launching into honesty. Because the truth doesn't lose value when spoken later, but it can lose all impact when spoken too soon. Truth needs fertile ground to take root. Rule 3. Too many yeses becomes self-betrayal. Your calendar shows 18 commitments this week. Yes to your boss. Yes to your wife. Yes to mentoring someone new. Yes to the community association. It's 11 at night sitting in your car after the last obligation, and you feel it. Whose life is this? Burnout doesn't come from doing too much. It comes from doing too much that isn't yours. This is people-pleasing behavior driven by a simple equation. Fear of disappointing others exceeds fear of neglecting yourself. But here's the truth psychology reveals. Boundaries equal self-respect, not selfishness. Every yes you give to someone else is a no you give to yourself. And over time, those no's accumulate into something harder to face. A 48-year-old CFO mentored 7 people simultaneously for free. One evening, he missed his daughter's piano recital because I promised I'd be there for a mentee's career crisis. His daughter said nothing, but 10 years later, she told him, "You were never really there." That's when it hit him. He'd given strangers what belonged to his family. Warren Buffett said it plainly. The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. When you say yes to everything, you're actually saying no to excellence. Your yes needs to be expensive, not cheap. It needs to cost you something to give it away, or it means nothing. Try this. When someone asks for your time, respond with, "Let me check my calendar," instead of reflexive agreement. Implement a rule, 3 yeses per week, maximum for external requests. And remember, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Because you can't live someone else's life and find your own at the same time. Every yes is a vote for the life you want. Rule 4. Confidence is comfort with imperfection. You're presenting to the board. The PowerPoint file crashes. Option A. Panic, get defensive. Ask to reschedule. Option B. Smile and say, "Well, looks like we're doing this old school." Then walk to the whiteboard. Which version impresses more? The answer reveals something most people miss about confidence. Real confidence isn't flawlessness. It's emotional flexibility. People don't trust perfection. They trust competence mixed with humanity. Brené Brown discovered this in her research. Vulnerability isn't the opposite of courage. It's the core of it. When you can stand steady while things fall apart, that's when others lean in. Consider the CEO who stood before his company in a town hall and said, "Our Q3 strategy was wrong. I was wrong. Here are 3 things I learned." Compare that to CEOs who blame the market, the economy, the team, anything but themselves. Which leader do you respect more? Which one would you fight for? Employee engagement in that first company increased 34% after that single admission. Here's what surprises people. Navy SEAL training teaches acceptance of discomfort, not avoidance of it. Perfectionists fail slower but harder because they won't pivot when needed. A flawless track record often means you haven't attempted anything difficult enough to fail at. The most impressive resumes include visible scars. In meetings, practice saying, "I don't know," followed by, "but I'll find out." That combination is powerful. Acknowledge mistakes before others point them out. Share failures with your team, not just victories. Because the strongest person isn't the one who never falls. It's the one who stands back up with the most calm. Confidence isn't armor. It's resilience. Rule 5. Being right is less important than being kind. You're arguing with your wife about a financial decision. You're 100% correct on the numbers, the logic, the projected ROI. You win the argument. But 3 days of silence follow. The distance between you can't be measured in spreadsheets. This is what psychologists call a Pyrrhic victory, technically won, practically lost. Research by John Gottman on marriages reveals a hard truth being right often costs more than being wrong. People don't remember the accuracy of your argument. They remember how you made them feel. When someone feels proven wrong, the brain triggers shame, which hardens into resentment. Connection breaks. And what was gained? Being correct about compound interest while your partner feels small and dismissed. Picture this. Your teenage son says, "You don't understand Gen Z at all." You could correct him. "I was young once too. I understand more than you think." Or you could try, "You're right. I need to learn more. Help me understand." The second option opens him up. He starts sharing pressure at school, struggles with friends, the weight of social media. The first option, silence, withdrawal, distance. Here's the insight most miss. In negotiations, making the other side feel right matters more than proving you're right. In leadership, correction without compassion breeds rebellion. Saying, "You're right," isn't weakness. It's strategic wisdom. It preserves the relationship for battles that truly matter. Before correcting someone, ask yourself, does this strengthen or weaken our relationship? Choose, "You might be onto something," over, "Actually, you're wrong." Save being right for life or death situations, not ego battles. Because no tombstone ever read, "He won every argument." Legacy is built on kindness, not correctness. Rule 6. Don't finish their sentence if it costs them courage. Your 25-year-old daughter comes home, hesitates at the kitchen table. "Dad, I've been thinking, I want to." You jump in, helpful. "Quit your job, right? I knew it." She nods. But what she really wanted to say was, "I want to start therapy for my anxiety." The opportunity closes. A wall builds where a bridge could have formed. This is what happens when you interrupt a vulnerable moment. You're not helping. You're stealing their agency. Courage isn't instant. It accumulates word by word, pause by pause. When you finish someone's sentence, you're essentially saying, "I know you better than you know yourself." That's not insight. That's arrogance. And it shuts people down faster than direct rejection. An employee books a one-on-one with her manager. She needs to quit, but doesn't know how to say it. "I've been thinking, this role is..." The manager, eager to help, "Not challenging enough. I can give you a bigger project." But what she needed to say was, "This job is destroying my mental health." 2 weeks later, she quits anyway. The manager never got the real conversation, just the aftermath. Here's what most people miss. In therapy, silence isn't awkwardness. It's working time. The best trial lawyers never interrupt a witness mid-testimony because the most important truth usually comes after the pause. Letting someone finish isn't just politeness. It's respect for the struggle it took them to start speaking in the first place. Try this. Count 5 full seconds after someone pauses before you speak. Say, "Take your time," instead of, I know what you mean. Physically bite your tongue if you have to. Because sometimes the greatest courage someone will show you lies in a sentence they haven't finished yet. The privilege of witnessing that courage requires one thing: shut up and listen. Rule 7. Don't tease someone who's already shrinking team meeting. The junior member stands to present an idea. His hands shake, his voice catches. The manager tries to lighten the mood. Relax, man, we don't bite. Everyone laughs. The junior member shrinks further into his chair. He never volunteers again. Good intention, terrible impact. When someone's already in defensive mode, humor doesn't register as relief. It registers as attack. Teasing doesn't diffuse insecurity. It amplifies it. Psychological safety research shows this. Clearly, people who are vulnerable need validation, not jokes. They need to feel seen, not dismissed. The line between bonding and cruelty is thinner than most people think. Picture this. You walk into a gym for the first time in 20 years. You're self-conscious about your weight, awkward with the machines. A regular spots you and calls out, "New year, new you, huh, bro? See you in February." He's joking, but you never come back. Now imagine a trainer saying instead, "Good for you for starting. Everybody begins somewhere." Same moment, completely different outcome. One closes the door, the other keeps it open. Here's what comedians understand, but most people don't. Punch up, never punch down. Teasing works between equals, not when there's a power imbalance. Saying, "just joking," doesn't undo psychological damage. It just adds insult to injury. Learn to read body language. Someone who's shrinking shows it hunched shoulders, avoided eye contact. Quiet voice. When you see those signs, match their vulnerability with gentleness. Say, "I see you trying," that takes guts, instead of "don't be nervous." Because the strongest person in any room is the one who protects the weakest while they're gathering strength. Teasing someone strong can build bonds. Teasing someone shrinking is just cruelty wearing a smile. Rule 8. Mirror feelings. First fixes can wait. Your wife comes home exhausted. "My boss blamed me for the intern's mistake again." You immediately shift into solutions mode. "You should document everything CC, the emails escalate to HR." She looks at you, tears forming. You don't understand. She walks to the bedroom. You're confused. "But you just told me the problem." Here's what happened. The emotional brain needs validation before it can process logic. When someone's upset, their prefrontal cortex, the part that handles rational thinking, goes offline. Solutions bounce off. They need to feel heard before they can feel helped. You skipped the first step and went straight to the second. Connection breaks. Your son fails his driving test for the third time. Option A. Next time, don't be so nervous. Practice parallel parking more. He gets more frustrated and shuts down. Option B. Man, that really sucks. You practiced so much for this. Pause. Let it sit. Then he says quietly, "I'm scared, I'm just not good enough." Now the real conversation can begin. Now you can actually help. Crisis management experts know this. Acknowledge feelings before launching into action plans. But men especially are trained to fix, not to feel. We think being useful means solving. But "I hear you" is often stronger than "here's what to do." Presence creates safety. Solutions create distance when offered too soon. Try this formula. That sounds, insert emotion word. Then pause. Wait for them to elaborate. Resist the urge to solve anything for the first 5 minutes. Or ask directly, do you want to vent or do you want to problem solve? That single question can change everything. Because sometimes people don't need you to fix the storm. They just need you to stand in it with them. Presence matters more than solutions in emotional moments. Rule 9. Don't meet someone's softness with structure. 11 at night. Your phone rings. Your close friend's voice is shaking. Bro, I'm not doing well. Your response. Okay, what specifically? Let's list each issue. We'll prioritize and tackle them one by one. Silence on the line. Then, never mind, I'm fine. Go to sleep. The connection dies. You were trying to help. You ended up pushing him away. Softness is an invitation to vulnerability, not a problem to systematize. When you respond to emotional openness with structure, you're actually defending yourself against discomfort. Structure feels useful, but vulnerability doesn't need utility. It needs witness. Matching someone's energy, their emotional tone, that's the core of real empathy. An employee walks into your office, tears in her eyes. My mom was just diagnosed with cancer. Boss A responds, okay, how many days off do you need? HR has a policy. Fill out this form. Boss B pauses. I'm so sorry. That must be really hard. Soon but silence. Presence. 20 years later, only one of these bosses will be remembered. And it won't be the one with the efficient system. Men default to structure because it makes us feel useful. But vulnerability doesn't need utility. It needs someone to bear witness. Structure can wait. Softness has timing. Miss that window and you've missed the moment entirely. Here's the test. Are they asking for structure or support if their voice is shaking? If their eyes are watering, mirror their softness. Don't reach for your project management skills. Simple words work better. I'm here beats, here's the plan every time. Because not every moment is a campaign requiring strategy. Some moments are just humans needing other humans. Sometimes being soft together is stronger than being strong alone. Rule 10. Spot the single player in the multiplayer lobby. Team brainstorm. 8 people in the room. One person dominates for 45 minutes straight, interrupts every idea, redirects every topic back to his own agenda. Gradually, everyone else goes quiet. The meeting ends. No one commits to anything. The energy is depleted. The single player doesn't realize he just played a solo game in a team space. This is about social attunement, the ability to read group dynamics. Single-player behavior reveals a lack of awareness that you're in shared space. Low synchrony creates friction and exhaustion for everyone else. It's like playing basketball where one person never passes. Technically, you're on the same court. Functionally, nobody else is really playing. Family dinner. Your new brother-in-law joins for the first time. Everyone's having casual conversation about weekend plans. He launches into a 20-minute monologue about his crypto portfolio. He doesn't notice people glancing at their phones, doesn't catch the short responses. After dinner, he wonders, why is everyone so quiet? I thought we were bonding. The room was multiplayer. He was playing solo. Here's what's often missed. This behavior is rarely malicious. Usually, it's just oblivious. Sometimes it's anxiety-driven, overcompensating for nervousness by filling every silence. Spotting it requires both compassion and boundary. These people need gentle redirection, not harsh judgment. Self-check regularly. Am I taking more airtime than I'm contributing value? As a leader, interrupt the pattern. Let's hear from people who haven't spoken yet, or redirect gently. That's interesting. What does everyone else think? Because multiplayer spaces work when everyone gets to play. When someone solo carries, nobody else wants to stay in the game. Awareness of shared space isn't just politeness, it's emotional intelligence at its peak. Rule 11. Let absence teach you as much as presence. Your best friend of 20 years, you finally get the promotion you've worked toward for a decade. You expect him to call to celebrate, but nothing. Weeks pass. The silence grows louder. Then you realize something you'd never noticed before. He was always there when you were struggling, never when you were succeeding. Absence just revealed what presence carefully hid. This is pattern recognition through what's missing, not just what's there. We're trained to pay attention to who shows up, but psychology suggests we should pay equal attention to who disappears. Absence is data. The empty chair has a message. Who stops reaching out when things get better? Who vanishes when you no longer need help? These absences teach you about the foundation of relationships more honestly than years of presence ever could. An executive told me this story. After a major restructure, he tracked something unusual. Not who came to meetings, but who reached out proactively when nothing was required. 5 out of 7 team members never did. They were present in mandatory spaces, absent in loyalty. That insight, drawn from absence rather than presence, reshaped his entire approach to building his leadership team. He started promoting based on who showed up when showing up wasn't mandatory. The empty seat at the table speaks. The friend who used to call every week but stopped when your life improved. The colleague who was everywhere when you had influence, but nowhere when you stepped back. These absences aren't failures, they're information. Clear, honest information about what was really there all along. So pay attention to the gaps. Notice who stays when they don't have to. Notice who leaves when you no longer serve their needs. Because absence doesn't just teach you who was never really there. It teaches you to value the ones who remain, the ones whose presence isn't conditional on your struggle or your success, just your existence. Rule 12. Don't confuse silence with indifference. You sit your teenage son down. The divorce is final. You explain everything calmly, openly. Then you ask, "How are you feeling about all this?" He shrugs, says nothing, looks at his phone. You think he doesn't care. He's indifferent, so you stop bringing it up. 3 years later, he's in therapy, finally telling someone what he couldn't tell you. He wasn't indifferent, he was drowning. Silence isn't emotional absence. It's often the opposite. It's deep processing. When someone goes quiet after difficult news, their brain isn't idle. It's working overtime. They're sorting through complexity that doesn't have words yet. Mistaking that silence for not caring is one of the most common errors in human connection, and one of the most damaging. Your partner receives bad news about a family member. You share your concern. They nod, but say nothing. Hours pass. You start to feel hurt. Don't they want to talk to you? Don't they trust you? But silence here isn't rejection. It's overwhelm. Some information hits so hard that speaking about it feels impossible. Not because they don't care, because they care so much that words feel inadequate. Here's what shifts everything. Stillness speaks, just in a different language. When someone goes silent, they're not necessarily pulling away. They might be pulling inward, trying to make sense of something before they can share it. Your job isn't to force speech. It's to make silence safe, to let them know that quiet is okay, that you'll wait. So when someone you care about goes silent, resist the urge to interpret it as indifference. Sit with them in it. Don't demand words. Just be present in the quiet. Because sometimes silence is when people are feeling the most. They just haven't found the bridge from feeling to language yet. And forcing that bridge before it's ready only burns it down. Rule 13. Assume there's a hard first draft behind every "I'm fine." Your teenage son walks in from school. You can tell something's wrong. His shoulders are tight. He won't make eye contact. "How was your day?" you ask. "I'm fine," he says, voice flat. But he's not fine. Behind those two words is a story about being humiliated in front of the class, about feeling invisible, about wondering if he matters. He's just not ready to share it, or doesn't know how. This is emotional filtering in action. "I'm fine" isn't the truth. It's the placeholder for complexity that hasn't been sorted yet. Think of it like writing. Nobody shows you the first draft. It's messy, uncertain, full of half-formed thoughts. Emotions work the same way. What people show you is the edited version, the one that felt safe enough to speak aloud. But behind it, there's always more. An employee sits in your office. You just announced a major decision that affects her role. "How do you feel about this?" you ask. "I'm fine with it," she says. You believe her. 2 weeks later, she resigns. You're shocked. But she wasn't lying when she said she was fine. She was buying time, processing, trying to figure out her own feelings before exposing them to someone with power over her career. The first draft was, "I hate this, and I'm scared." The version you got was the one she thought was safe. First draft emotions rarely get shown. They're too raw, too unprocessed, too vulnerable. What you see is the version someone has edited enough to share. And that gap between the rough draft and the final version, that's where the real story lives. So when someone tells you they're fine, believe them enough to not push. But don't believe them so much that you stop paying attention. Watch for the gap between their words and their body language. Create space for the real story to emerge when they're ready. Because behind every "I'm fine" is the story they haven't figured out how to tell yet. Rule 14. Some things want witness, not repair. Your wife comes home in tears. She lost the job she'd held for 8 years. Before she can even sit down, you're in motion. Okay, here's what we do. You apply to 10 other places this week. Update your resume. I'll ask around, see who's hiring. We'll have this solved in a month. She looks at you, then walks away. You were trying to help. You made it worse. This is the gap between validation and solutions. In moments of grief loss or deep pain, the brain isn't looking for a fix. It's looking for someone to confirm that what it's feeling is real and acceptable. When you jump straight to solutions, you're essentially saying your feelings are a problem to be solved, not an experience to be honored. That message lands even when you don't mean to send it. A friend tells you his father just died. You've got 2 options. Option 1. Start listing grief resources. Suggest therapy, share your own loss. Offer advice on funeral planning. Option 2. Sit down. Be quiet. Let the silence hold what words can't. Say only, "I'm so sorry. I'm here." That's it. Nothing more. Which option do you think he'll remember 20 years from now? Which one actually helps? Presence beats problem solving when someone's world has just shifted. Your friend doesn't need a plan. He needs someone to bear witness to his pain without trying to make it smaller or tidier. That's harder than it sounds, because fixing feels useful. Being present feels passive. But it's not. It's active listening without agenda. It's one of the hardest gifts to give. So when someone's hurting, resist the reflex to solve. Ask yourself, are they asking for help or are they asking to be seen? Most of the time, it's the second one. And the gift of being truly seen in pain without someone trying to make it go away is more healing than any solution. Not every storm needs fixing. Some just need you to stand in them together. Rule 15. Let others outgrow your memory of them. Your younger brother is 40 now, runs a successful business, employs 30 people, built something from nothing. But when he shares an idea with you, you still hear him as the irresponsible kid who couldn't hold a job at 20. When he makes a decision, you question it, remembering all the bad calls he made 2 decades ago. You're not seeing him. You're seeing a ghost. And that ghost is destroying your relationship. This is confirmation bias at work. Once we form an opinion about someone, our brain filters new information to confirm what we already believe. We notice evidence that fits our existing view. We dismiss evidence that contradicts it. The person evolves. Our memory of them stays frozen, and that gap creates distance neither side can quite name. A man told me about his brother-in-law, former addict 10 years clean, built his life back piece by piece. New career, stable home, helps others in recovery, but the family still won't trust him with anything important. Won't leave him alone with the kids, always watching, always waiting for him to slip. He's not the person he was a decade ago, but in their eyes, he's frozen in his worst moment. The family can't see his growth. They're too busy guarding against his past. People evolve. Your memory shouldn't freeze them. When you lock someone into an old version, you're not protecting yourself from who they were. You're preventing them from becoming who they are. And worse, you're missing out on the relationship you could have with the person they've actually become. So do this. Check your assumptions regularly. Ask yourself, am I responding to who this person is now or who they were 5 years ago? When your memory conflicts with present evidence, trust the present. Let people surprise you. Let them outgrow who they used to be, because the most generous thing you can do for anyone is refuse to imprison them in the version of themselves they've worked so hard to leave behind. Rule 16. Spot potential, name it aloud. The junior analyst sits in the meeting nervous. She's only been with the company 6 months, but during the strategy discussion, she makes an observation that shifts everything. Everyone pauses. The manager looks at her and says simply, "You have real strategic thinking. That's rare." The meeting continues, but those 8 words change her entire career trajectory because someone saw something she couldn't see in herself and named it out loud. This is how naming potential shapes self-narrative. We carry internal stories about our capabilities. Often those stories undervalue us. We can't see our own strengths clearly because we're too close to them. But when someone we respect names what they see, it gives that quality shape and permission. It becomes real. Suddenly, it's not just something you did once. It's something you are. A team member keeps hesitating to take on leadership roles, capable but unsure. You pull him aside after a difficult client call he handled perfectly. "I see leadership in you, not the loud kind, the kind people actually trust." That's all you say. 3 months later, he applies for the manager role he'd been avoiding. When asked why, now he says, "Someone told me they saw it, so I started looking for it too." Here's what most people miss. Others can often spot our potential more clearly than we can. They're not clouded by our insecurities, our past failures, our limiting beliefs about ourselves. They just see what's actually there. And when they name it, especially during a moment of self-doubt, it can light up a path we couldn't see before. So pay attention when you notice something real in someone say it. Not generic praise, specific recognition. You have a gift for making people feel heard. You see solutions where others see problems. You bring calm into chaos. These aren't flattery. They're observations that help people recognize their own shape. And sometimes one well-placed comment becomes the thing someone builds their next decade around. Rule 17. Prioritize presence over ping. Your son drove 4 hours to visit for the weekend. You're at dinner, just the two of you. He's telling you about his new job, the challenges, the small victories. Your phone keeps lighting up. Work messages. Nothing urgent, but you glance. Once, twice, 5 times. The conversation gets shorter. He checks his own phone. By dessert, you're both scrolling. He leaves Sunday morning earlier than planned. You don't understand why the visit felt hollow, but he does. This is attention residue in action. Every time you glance at your phone, part of your mind stays there. Even after you look back up, you're not fully present. Your son feels it. Not consciously maybe, but the connection never deepens. Because real presence requires full presence. Half attention communicates half interest. And people remember that feeling long after they forget the conversation. Here's a simple test. Turn your phone completely off during one-on-ones. Not face down. Not on silent. Off. Watch what happens. The person across from you relaxes. They lean in. They share things they wouldn't have otherwise. Because undivided attention has become so rare that when someone gives it, it registers as trust. It says you matter more than what's on this screen. In a digital age where everything pings, buzzes, and demands immediate response, full presence has become luxury. Most people are physically there, but mentally fragmented. Your body is at dinner. Your mind is checking email planning tomorrow, replaying earlier conversations. That divided state has become so normal, we don't notice. But the people in front of us notice. They always notice. So make this choice consciously. When you're with someone who matters, be there completely. Not just your body, your attention, your mind, your awareness. Because 20 years from now, your son won't remember that you were at dinner. He'll remember whether you were truly there or just present enough to count. People don't remember physically present. They remember fully present. Rule 18. Celebrate micro wins. They fuel macro ones. You set the goal, lose 30 pounds. You're disciplined for 3 weeks. Hit the gym track. Your food, go to bed early. But when you step on the scale, only 4 pounds gone. It feels like nothing. You expected more, so you quit. Another failed attempt. But here's what you missed. You're already sleeping better. Your energy is higher. You're stronger than you were 21 days ago. Progress was happening. You just weren't celebrating it. This is the progress principle. Momentum matters more than perfection. Psychology research shows that people feel most motivated when they sense forward motion, not necessarily when they hit final targets. The problem is, we fixate on the big outcome and miss the small wins along the way. Those micro wins are the fuel that keeps the engine running. Without them, motivation dies before transformation happens. Consider this reframe. Instead of celebrating lost 10 pounds, celebrate showed up to the gym 3 times this week. Instead of closed the big deal, celebrate made 5 quality calls. These micro wins are visible and frequent. They create a feedback loop. Your brain associates effort with progress. That association builds momentum, and momentum compounded over time delivers the macro results you're chasing. The goal isn't to lower standards. It's to recognize that big achievements are built from small, consistent actions. When you only celebrate the finish line, you're essentially telling yourself that nothing matters until you cross it. That's a long, demotivating stretch. But when you celebrate each mile marker, each small improvement, you're reinforcing the behaviors that lead to big outcomes. So track the inputs, not just the outputs. Celebrate showing up, not just succeeding. Notice the small shifts that signal progress, even when the scoreboard hasn't moved yet. Because micro wins create compound effects. String enough of them together, and you'll look back stunned at how far you've come. The secret isn't doing something massive once. It's doing something small consistently and celebrating it every time. Rule 19. Text. When you're late, even by 5 minutes, you're running 7 minutes behind for a client meeting. Traffic was worse than expected. It's not a big deal, right? Just 7 minutes. You'll apologize when you arrive. But your client is sitting there checking his watch. 5 minutes pass. 6, 7. No message from you. Is he coming? Did he forget? Is this meeting not important to him? By the time you arrive, the vibe is already off. You apologize. He says it's fine, but it's not quite fine anymore. Here's what psychology reveals. Uncertainty creates more stress than bad news. When someone's waiting and doesn't know what's happening, their brain fills the silence with stories, usually negative ones. But a simple text, running 5 minutes late, be right there, cuts through all that. It transforms uncertainty into information. The other person relaxes. They know you're coming. They know you're aware. That small message signals respect. This is micro-signaling at work. Big gestures of respect are easy to spot. Flowers, thank you notes, thoughtful gifts. But the real test of respect lives in the tiny everyday moments. A 5-minute heads up costs you nothing, but it tells the person waiting your time matters to me. I see that you showed up. I'm not taking that for granted. Most people think it's only 5 minutes. They'll understand. But that's not the point. The point is showing you. Understand that their time isn't infinite. That making someone wait without acknowledgement is a subtle form of disrespect, even when unintentional. And in business, especially, these micro signals accumulate. They shape how people perceive your reliability, your consideration, your professionalism. So make it automatic. If you're going to be even slightly late, send the message. Brief, simple, direct. It's not about apology. It's about acknowledgement. Because respect isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's just having the awareness to send a text. That small act builds trust in ways most people never stop to recognize. Rule 20. Some kindnesses are invisible on purpose. The junior employee makes a critical mistake, one that could derail the client relationship he's been building for months. He doesn't know it yet, but the error already reached the senior partner's desk. The mentor sees it, quietly fixes it, restructures the deliverable, smooths it over with the client. The junior employee never knows how close he came to disaster. The mentor never mentions it. Not to him, not to anyone. That's the point. This is kindness in its purest form. True generosity doesn't need recognition. In fact, the most powerful acts of kindness are often invisible. They happen in the background, designed to help without creating obligation or debt. When you fix someone's mistake without telling them, you're not just solving a problem. You're protecting their confidence, their dignity, their ability to keep growing without the weight of that particular failure. An elderly man at the grocery store. His card declines. He's counting change, embarrassed. The person behind him quietly tells the cashier, "I've got this," pays, then walks away before the man can even turn around to say thank you. No eye contact, no acknowledgement, just help delivered and gone. That's invisible kindness. It relieves without creating a social debt the receiver has to carry. Here's what makes this powerful. Visible kindness often comes with strings, maybe not intentional ones, but they're there. The expectation of gratitude, the creation of obligation, the subtle shift in power dynamics. But invisible kindness is clean. It helps without changing the relationship, without putting anyone in a position of debt. That purity is what makes it stick, not in memory, but in effect. So when you have the chance to help someone without them knowing, consider doing it that way. Not because visible help is wrong, but because invisible help is often the truest form. It says, "I'm not doing this for recognition or gratitude. I'm doing this because it needs doing." The strongest kindness doesn't need an audience. It just needs someone willing to act when no one's watching.